Okay. Hold up. They're good. We'll call this meeting to order. Everybody, it is now 4:34. And welcome everybody. So let's do a roll call and establish a quorum. Chairperson Iris Ramos here. Vice Chair Jacob McElroy
Here.
Board Member Terry Burning Bissett here. Board Member Nancy Coddington present. Board Member Dorothy Tajan here. All board members Cheryl Mills here. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so the first order of business would be your public comments. We have public comments. Mr. Gambino, are you still there?
I am.
Oh, good. So, welcome to this meeting. Appreciate you showing up. And I understand that we can offer you at least 3 minutes to make comments. Would you like to make them now before we reach the agenda item that you're here to talk about? Or would you like to wait?
Yeah, I sent in my comments. I mean, I can talk about them a little bit more on what I'm doing for the variance. And I also sent pictures. I don't know if you received those that I sent in yesterday before noon or something like that. I was told to send a picture of the area where the trees are. Did you receive those?
Yes, we received all of your materials.
Okay, all right. So real quickly, it's the 2 trees that are in question. Obviously, we needed to do this for a variance to take those out so that I could put in the event center. Also, I'm requesting the removal fee to be waived. The reason for that is that money will be reallocated for, I would say, a minimum of 20 more trees that I'm going to be putting in. The trees in question are the Spanish oaks, and I'm going to be putting in live oaks, which is, I think, a way better looking tree. And then obviously, beautifying the area with other vegetation there. So really, that's all I have. It's kind of short and sweet, and just asking for some help, and I guess I can hang on to listen, or is there something that you'll get back to me with, or?
Well, I believe this is your time, for you to say anything that you would like to say. We will be discussing it more fully, and then probably maybe making a decision today. I'm not sure yet about that. We just received this information today, or I guess it was Friday. So we have a lot to discuss about this. I did have one clarification, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Allowed, yes? Yeah. So on the form that the variance request that you made, it seemed like what you said, I'm sorry, I have a lot of papers in front of me. And so I'm going to paraphrase. What you said in your variance request was that the trees you wanted to cut down 2 trees, and the reason for, can you just explain why you want to cut the trees down?
So
On the application, I'm sorry, on the application.
You're on the application.
Page 6.
It's under number 1, it's 2 reasons.
Thank you. All right, so, thank you. I have a whole team of people here that are helping, which is wonderful. So, number one, there are special circumstances or conditions affecting the land involved. And, so you're requesting variance to cut down 2 trees on your property. These are oak trees, is that right?
I'm sorry, these are what?
Oak trees,
They're, yeah, Spanish oaks?
and they are heritage oak trees.
Correct.
They're greater than 24 inches in diameter.
I think they're,
And
yeah, 24 inches each, or just right at that number.
And your response on here was the land will be used to build an event center and the trees are blocking the area necessary for the building.
Correct.
Can you say a little bit more about that?
So I think I sent the rendering of the event center. And basically to lay everything out, we don't really want to work around trees. We want to plant new trees so that it doesn't look like we worked around something. And you know, they're basically in the way of what we want to do. And of course, I wasn't aware of any of this until we went to the city to get a permit to take them out. So the reason is to, you know, creating this event center and putting it in a place where we can build around it with vegetation and, you know, new trees. So, I mean, it's kind of a simple answer, but it's the answer, just so that we don't have to kind of wedge it in or kind of look like we kind of wonkied it in a certain way. Yeah. So
Everything you're asking is on the application.
Okay.
That's it.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to the application that you've already filled out? So you don't want to work around the trees, and I'm assuming you have an architect who helped you with this. Is that right?
yes, and we actually have, the plans are actually into the city right now. They just came back from engineering for the
Can
building.
you approximately the size of the trees that you are planning on replacing?
The box size, I'm not sure. I've got a guy that has some mature trees that, you know, they're not this size, but like I said, we're gonna do a minimum of 20 trees. I'm gonna guess when we're all done, it could be close to 30 trees. We're gonna put a screen of trees up by the parking lot to kind of hide the parking lot and kind of make that area behind the event center more secluded. So that's going to take 20, 30, 40 trees, you know, because I want to make it more more of a screen with these trees, tighter. So and those will all be live oaks, which is everywhere in hill country. So
And we have, our time is up for the public comments. And we have actually gone over time. So I appreciate your attendance, and we will look at this pretty carefully and try to make a fair decision about this. Okay?
okay, perfect.
I all the hard work you've already done into getting this to us. Thank you.
Okay.
So we got to move on to item number 1.
So, we're going to now approve that. And so this is a question, really like to do a small statement of appreciation for Dorothy, who is stepping down today. And is it a good time to do it?
No, for the announcement.
She's
She
leaving.
can change the agenda however she wants.
because Dorothy has already said she wants to leave early. Oh, you do?
You can still vote.
So, we have a card, I'm not sure if everybody has signed it. Jacob? You signed it?
I hadn't had a chance. Where's that? Don't look, Dorothy.
With the gavel?
Just call her recess.
I'm gonna call a recess.
There you go.
Good.
Right, we also need somebody to take minutes today.
You can do it. I can't read my own handwriting, so I wouldn't do it.
Yes, and if you look at the
Sure.
minutes that we just
Not in order.
oh, thank you, and there is a form, is this me or her?
The one who's taking the minutes.
So we have a form specifically for motions. And it requires more detail, Cheryl. So can you handwrite?
I was instructed.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If someone can read it, I have no promises. Beautiful. Okay, so the next order of business is.
Sorry, do I write all the notes on here or just when we are making?
Only the motion.
Oh, wait.
All you need.
And it has to have who approved, who didn't approve, who made the motion, who seconded, and all of that.
Everything on the.
Everything on here. I haven't looked at the form. Okay, so the first order of business is to approve the regular tree board meeting minutes from September 11th. Have all of you had a chance to read them? Yes, and I have a question.
On new business, on that, on the minutes, on this, that page, number 4, discussing the possible action, discussion on events or big event at Triangle Park. With that, which, is that the work day that we just had at Triangle Park, or is that at the one on Brook Meadow? The Hollow?
Follow.
Okay.
No, this is Triangle Park.
Yeah, okay, well, that's
So it was
what.
Arbor Day. The work day we just had was Augusta. Okay, and that was for
That
the
was my
Parks Board.
confusion, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So are there any other questions, amendments, agreements? Okay, so any discussion? No discussion, so let's take a vote.
Something else, somebody needs to make a motion to approve them, and then somebody seconds.
I move that, we approve the minutes of October 10th. Or 13th.
I second that.
Okay, so let's take a vote on it.
Chair Ramos,
Yes,
Vice Chair McElroy,
Yes.
Member Bernie Bissette,
Yes.
Member Coddington,
Yes.
Member Kagan. Thank you.
so it's approved. Minutes are
Good.
approved. So we'll move on to the next item. All right, so, discussion of election result impact on board membership, membership, item number 2. So, exactly sure how to discuss this, except that our mayor was reelected. Ms. Richardson was elected. And Deborah Hines was reelected. And so there are no, I don't even know how to say this.
Anybody who was elected by Hines, Foley, or Mr. I'm sorry, or Mayor Russell previously has to get renominated if they choose to stay on.
Okay, so everybody who, bye Dorothy. Bye. Oh, do you want to take cake home to Jerry? Did you taste it first?
No, I had to know about this one, that's a long ago.
Um, so. So we will have a new liaison to the board, and I believe it's Ms. Richardson. But hasn't been appointed yet, so it's unofficial. But I'm so looking forward to becoming official. And, welcome. Thank you. And then, the mayor will have to reappoint somebody, and so will Deborah Hines. And I'm assuming that they will re-elect. Well, I'm not sure how that works, honestly, but I do know that the terms for myself and Jacob and Cheryl expire December of this year. So if we sent intention of our desire to continue on the board, if you haven't done it, please do it.
Okay.
That left.
My printer is fine.
I'm printing it right now.
Can I have one too?
No?
That's this.
I missed it.
That's fine.
Sorry.
He's eating too.
So if you haven't done that, then please do. So the new board will reconvene in the new year as a complete board. We may have to postpone the January 8th meeting date so that we can actually be appointed. So, Terry and Nancy, congratulations, you're on the board.
Okay.
And thank you for your service. Okay, so I don't have anything else to say about that. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Will we be a full board or will we still, I guess, we'll have. We're looking for more tree board members.
Would you like?
What we have to replace them?
Yeah, we're gonna have to replace. You know, at least an alternate, if not a regular member, maybe a couple alternates, I don't know. That all, you know, wraps up, but we're trying this year to make sure that we have an application on file. You know, for everybody, I mean, even if you've been serving for 6 years and you wanna keep going, we still want an application, so we have it on file. And so we will, the council will select from the applications on file to say, okay, I have to fill Dorothy's position, that's my role as a city council member, and, you know, I nominate whoever, right? So, and that's kind of how it works. What we really need to do, and like we've talked about this with the last several days, is, you know, what our ordinances, you know, really should better define the term of service so that you serve until your replacement is on board. So there's not a gap, you know, that's what's confusing, is there's actually that gap between December 31st and January, you know, when the council meets to appoint the committee members. So we don't want that gap to exist. We'll just say, so we can probably just amend those ordinances to make it a little bit easier to, you know, get through this in coming years, but this year we have to deal with it.
And we can do it well, I'm sure. Yeah, I feel like a lame duck. Better than a dead duck.
Yeah.
Please fill out those forms for you today.
Pardon?
Doing it.
All right, so, if there isn't any more discussion about election results, congratulations to the mayor, by the way, and to you, Krista, for winning, and for Deborah Hines, who's not here. You can pass on our congratulations.
Oh, yeah, definitely will.
All right, so, item number 3, and you will see in your agenda packet that there is a copy of the variance. The city of Wood Creek has received an application from Joe Gambino, 1 Pro Lane, Wood Creek, Texas, requesting a variance to the city of Wood Creek ordinance 91.07B3 states that property owners, residents, and developers who wish to remove a heritage tree must request a variance. When Mr. Gambino discovered this, he did put in a variance. And according to the ordinance, they have to have proof that there's a substantial reason to remove a heritage tree, and placement of a desired structure is not considered to be a reason enough to remove a heritage tree. That being said, as a board, we also have the authority to waive, compromise, work with Mr. Gambino, and for the betterment of the community. So we could have some discussion on this. And if you read the application, if you have any questions.
Any questions?
Okay.
This rendering doesn't show how that sits on the property. I'm assuming that this is rolling.
Yes. But
Okay, so this is actually the corner.
I believe
This
Mr.
side.
Burton knows. Mr. Burton,
Yeah,
So this is Pro Lane and this is actually the corner of
right,
the
so
old parking lot.
it's kind of oriented the same way as the whole building.
Okay,
So this would be roughly the same front door.
okay.
So the trees that he's in question are to the right
Oh,
of this door, and then to the far back left.
To the right.
You could be, like, the building will be here in the space,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
Facing the street.
Oh, got you.
so this is kind of the back, from behind, what's up right now?
So this is behind
This
this
is the-
building.
yeah. This is the back. So this would be the back door of the building, the new pro shop and
Right.
car barn here,
Right.
this tree. And this tree.
That's the new- yeah.
So just a different view. This is from the very back and opposite. It's this tree. And this tree. So it's kind of,
Hidden behind, but-
yeah, it looks like that small tree, but.
It's back there.
Who has access? Who has access to
Is
this
it-
event?
you clear?
So, yeah, somewhat. So, how big a square footage is the building and is that why we need to remove the trees? It's gonna be in the way of the building or is it just?
From the way he explained it to me, and I'm not gonna speak for him, but he, if you moved it the other way, then you're in the fun green and the path behind to get to the car barn and the pro shop. I can pull up the plans that I have, that he sent me, to the city, and I tell you the width and if you give me a minute, I'll pull that up.
Yeah.
That's the trees are blocking the area.
That's like 6,000 square feet?
Yeah. I see so many papers for the day, I can't remember them all.
I think you asked a question also, George, Harry, about who has access to the event center.
Yeah, who's gonna use it? Did you listen to residents to, if they want to have an event,
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
You rent it out.
rent it? Yeah.
And I also think
Yeah.
that, the golf course also was the host for the spectacular that was canceled. So there are community events that occur there as well.
So was the application to remove these trees already approved and he's just asking for
No,
No,
the fee of variance to be waived?
no, they turned in, Joseph, whatever his name was, turned in an
Gambino.
original, not Gambino, he's James, he was the guy that did the demo of the building.
Uh-huh.
Cause me and Kevin went out and looked there and they had all these trees marked, so can't cut these down without a permit. And Joseph, cause I can't remember his last name, he said, I'll let them know that they have to do that before we do all that. Well, they turned in an application for 5, but there were 7 trees around it. They turned in an application with 5 to remove, which I went out and measured, 2 of which are these trees in question. So after telling them, you can't cut those down without the process, they turned in a different one to cut down the ones that were under the protected size, which they all were, except for these 2 heritage trees.
Okay.
And then he started the process for this today.
So
Oh,
he did
okay.
change
So-
up his floor plan. to accommodate other-
I don't know that he's he hasn't altered his plans as far as I know. My suggestion was, because I told him exactly what Ira said, that you can't, just the mere fact that you want to build a building is not necessarily sufficient cause is to remove them, so you need to do whatever you can to move it, whatever. I'm not trying to be pro him or pro anything other than,
Sure.
it's like you just be aware that that's the case. It needs to be more than just, I want to build a building here. There's gonna have to be some other circumstances, more than likely, to get approved. So,
And he does plan to plant 20 or 30 trees in that same area?
he has not told me what, where, how many. He just said, we're gonna plant other trees and landscaping and that kind of thing.
I think he said on the call that he was gonna line the parking lot as well,
Oh,
with 20,
That's right.
20 to 30
potentially 40
trees.
trees. In addition to what it looks
Any-
like on the
any sort of
rendering on the side of the building.
He did.
Spanish. No, he was.
Live oak.
He's cutting the-
Live oaks. So I think it's better that we talk one at a time.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, I appreciate everything you're saying. He didn't answer my question about the size of the trees that he's replacing with, and I don't think he knew that. One of the issues that I have, if you look at the rendering, the aerial rendering, you see a lot of gray around the site that is being, it says rebuilt. It's a lot of gray. And Terry and I went and looked at it this afternoon. That gray are dead trees. Or dying trees. And so I have a concern that, well, the Spanish oaks are very susceptible to oak wilt. But these are large oaks. They're very large oaks. And they're actually quite beautiful. But they are susceptible to oak wilt, and there seems to be a lot of oak wilt. I don't know if he's done an assessment of the trees on his property and has worked on it.
Well, when was this picture taken? I mean, all the cedar elms are defoliating right now, so.
These pictures were submitted, there's a notation on the bottom, submitted
12/10.
12/10, Sunday, yesterday.
So it wasn't the elms that we were looking at, it was the oaks.
Okay,
No,
There were oaks in front of the existing building that were in extremely poor shape. So, are there any more questions or remarks?
Remark, if I may?
Yes,
I mean, just sort of speaking about the oak wilt thing, this is the condition of the trees on the golf course, around the golf course, not just around the clubhouse, but all around the golf course. We know there's a lot of oak wilt, on golf course property. I talked to, some of the people, but they're not there anymore. So I've had these discussions, about, what are we gonna do about this, especially like around the freeze time, but they're gone now. So it's like, okay, so one of the things that I was thinking and discussed it with Iris earlier is that could some of this, include as a requirement, that a comprehensive plan for, taking care of the trees on this property, be submitted, so that we get those trees taken care of, and
Taken care of as.
Removed or?
like remove the trees that have been killed by oak wilt. If there's, whatever, but some sort of a plan for, a real life plan signed off on by the golf course and the city, for, how we're gonna take care of this thing. Because it has to be done.
Neighbors lost.
so the other aspect to consider, and I understood clearly in materials that he's provided, is that he's trying to beautify the space, which I think is perfect, especially for a golf course. That was the reason Wood Creek is even here. And so, in supporting him, I personally would like to support him. When I first heard this, I wasn't so sure about what was being asked. But if he could come up with, and I'm concerned about replacing dead live oaks with new live oaks. Of course, I guess that are also susceptible to oak wilt. We're not going to get rid of oak wilt necessarily, and it's still in the ground, in the roots right now, and could spread.
Did he say he was replacing them with what? I thought he said he was replacing with Spanish oak.
No, other way around.
Live oaks.
There are Spanish oaks there.
And that would be a question, would he consider, you know, a different tree or trees?
That I'm thinking that maybe that if he came up with a different design with a clear statement about what kind of trees that are desert hardy or desert tolerant or water, low water use, something that is practical, that could last a long time and would still beautify the property, that might also be something to consider. His plan doesn't have specific, I took notes when I was reading it. I think he needs to specify when the trees are gonna be planted, which trees, what size, where they're gonna go, have a plan, basically. And if there could be some sort of open assessment to protect the trees that are there and in the community around the golf course. And if he could also amend his language about the trees are blocking the area necessary for the building. It presents a point of view that his need, the human need, is more important than the trees. And we are a tree board with a mandate to protect the trees. So if he could amend his language, I would really appreciate it. Of course, that's just me. But I'd love to hear what some of you say before we talk about what options we have here with this.
Real quick, I've got the answer to Jake's question. It's roughly 6,100 square foot foundation, pretty much a rectangle. There's
Okay,
gonna be an upstairs too, but the foundation with the porch and inside and everything, it's roughly 6,100.
Here and B.
so is that going,
We
is
slab.
Slab.
that gonna affect the trees at all? I mean, is the foundation gonna be into where the trees are?
He has not given us a site plan, kind of, other than saying that it's going here, based on what he's told me, they're in the way of the foundation, because I think the foundation's a lot wider than the previous one. So and I don't want to put words in his mouth. It's got to scoot farther to the right, or, you know, towards the creek, and it, without getting too close to the putting green.
But if you look at it just from a practical perspective, it's like if he's planning on planting, let's say 20 more trees, and he's already got 2 that are perfectly good and great, that, you know, he would have left those 2. I mean, if they would have fit into the plan, he would have left them rather than, you know, plant new ones. So my assumption, and of course, it is an assumption, is that's because that needs to be part of the foundation. And that,
So
and
no,
that's
kind of the work that
Definitely
they
that one.
permitted and did for the pro shop and some of the underground electric they've already done, they kind of got to a certain point. And just my assumption is that's kind of where the building will need to end, which does cover up those 2 trees. I don't know if you can move back and, I don't know if you can move based on the information I have, so. If that kind of answers your question.
What I heard him say was he didn't want to work around the trees. He wanted to start new. Which doesn't sound like a lot of flexibility.
Or just quoted on your agenda.
So, does he have landscaping plans already? I mean, so, you know, has everybody had a chance to speak or what they're thinking? Nancy?
Well, the only thing that I'm thinking is when, you know, if this ordinance is approved, okay.
The variance.
Variance, what kind of who's going to help him decide on what kind of trees are gonna go there?
Well, it's his property, he can choose what trees he wants.
And he mentioned the,
This is just about removing these two trees. I mean, what he decides to replace them with is up to him.
he said live oak.
What?
He said.
Yeah, he said live oaks, which are, you know, they can be very nice trees. Plus the fact that they're transitional trees, they don't lose all their leaves, you know.
The impression I got was that he wants to do the right thing. I did get that impression, yeah, live oak, that's what you say, they want to do the right thing, right? So your question is a good one. Who is there that can help him or assist him? And
Do we provide a list?
Make it,
Yeah.
make it conditional.
so, I'm,
I don't see one.
what did you say?
Could we provide a list to them of trees that? we would
Well, the
like to
city
see?
should have approved trees, right?
We do.
Yeah.
And it's in the ordinance.
Okay.
It's listed in the ordinance. I have it if you wanna look at it. But there are other groups that he can also communicate with, like master naturalists. And, I didn't get the sense that he has, a landscaping plan other than to make a screen of live oaks. But I don't know that we gave him enough time to really flush this out. So what, I'm wondering if, am I cutting you off, Nancy? I don't know. Okay, I'm wondering if it would be feasible, if he's not in a big rush, if we could take some time to come up with a plan for him of what would make it feasible to change, not change his plan, but to work with what he wants and still accommodate the tree ordinance somewhat. I mean, he's talking about 20 to 30 more trees.
What do we know about his construction schedule, Joe?
They want to go immediately, but their permit review was denied at this point for further information on a few things, which I spoke with one of his builders today that it may take several weeks to get everything back to the engineers. So you would have several weeks, I think, to review.
Good to know.
So if I may say this out loud, if we say we want to come up with some conditions for this, what kind of trees he's gonna put in, when he's gonna put them in, what size they are, I wanna know all that stuff. And how he's planning, I would love to hear some sort of assessment to take care of the trees he's already got. The idea of putting in new healthy trees when there's sick trees all around doesn't make sense to me as a gardener. It sounds like the property needs some amending in terms of soil perhaps, and soil management as well as trees, especially if they're going to be tearing up concrete. So I think it would be good if we could come up with some conditions that include like an oak growth assessment maybe, or a comprehensive plan for the trees, a landscaping plan with some specific information about the trees he's going to plant. And if we could do that, and if he agreed to that, then perhaps we could say, okay, we'll give you this. If it's very concretely written with conditions, then he would get the go ahead to put those trees down and he could pursue his building construction, right?
Well, I think he should actually work with what he's got. Cause I mean, those are really old trees. They're over 24 inches diameter. And the carbon offset to plant 20 new trees, I don't think is gonna match up to what he's already got.
Do you have a suggestion?
So, deny it.
The trees that I'm looking at here don't look 24 inches in diameter.
Oh, they are.
They've been measured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So diameter goes straight through the tree. Terry
Oh,
and
okay,
I,
not the,
not the
okay.
circumference. The circumference was, I don't know, 60. I went like this twice
And then there was still tree.
and there was still tree.
Oh,
So they're big trees.
Well,
I
they're,
mean, so they've been
They're,
growing for
more like-
well over
there
50
was like a-
years.
yardstick left on that one. So, you know, they're big, yeah, but they are big trees. They're not.
and they're Spanish oaks, and Spanish oaks, the ones that get all the stuff on them.
I mean, they're more susceptible, but it doesn't mean that they're,
the.
they already have.
No, no, I meant, the Spanish oaks that I'm thinking about are the oak trees that get the moss on them.
Spanish moss.
Yeah. Is that what they are?
No,
They're not.
no. So not any specific tree gets Spanish moss. Spanish moss is just a different type of moss, not a parasite. If you go out towards Fisher, there's live oaks that have Spanish moss.
Okay.
It's just an air plant.
So maybe we need to ask him to get a landscaper. It
I
sounds like
can't
he has.
imagine that he wouldn't have a landscaper at this point if they're already, you know, planning out how many trees they are going to need. But
A specific. What I'm
Well,
thinking is somebody
I don't-
specifically who, excuse me, Terry, who can work with what's there
Mhm.
and see if it can be worked around a plan. So that they didn't have to be cut. I'm not sure, are they on the edge of the property, Jim?
No, not on there. No, they're right.
In the middle of his building?
Yeah, one.
So
by-
one of them is close, looks somewhat close to the road, going in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Right.
And then there's one back behind the,
Closer to the building?
Yeah.
closer to the building.
What about page 30? Eric?
The one that says, page, you build?
Page 3 and 4.
I mean, they're large, healthy trees.
So the one, this one is smack in the middle of the building. That would be. That's the most beautiful tree. It was the bigger of the two.
Right.
And this other one is closer to the street.
Right.
Now. Is Jim?
It's a question, Jacob, would probably know. From a construction point of view, we don't ever want to get too close to a tree because of the roots. A tree that size, how far away should he be from that root system without?
Well, so
eventually-
at least a quarter CRZ, so a quarter of the critical root zone, which is a foot per diameter inch. So a quarter of that, and then that's about the maximum distance you want closest to a building or a tree.
I'm just curious if he
So,
moved it anyways, with, I just would want to make sure, if you're gonna keep the tree, make sure he's not close enough.
well, I was
to
gonna
damage
suggest,
and eventually die anyway.
right,
And he's probably
removing
not
one
thinking
and
that.
not the other is gonna be the next thing I suggest, is keeping the one closest to the road.
Yeah.
Cause it looks like it's
Okay.
not in a bad spot, and there's not gonna be slab going out towards the road. So that was gonna be my next suggestion.
Actually, the picture, you know, we want to put, the one that he wants to cut is
There's two of them.
this one, wasn't it? Or was
So I keep on getting confused.
I know.
What's
But there's not a very.
this one now?
Uh-huh.
Check.
And then
Y'all-
No, it is this one back here.
behind the middle one. This one.
Okay.
It's hard to see from this view.
That, we didn't get to that one. We were
This
looking at
one.
this one.
3 and 4 are reversed of each other.
And this angle.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's different.
Yeah, so this one is not in the middle of construction. This one is in the.
That's when I was just in the right of the front door.
Overall.
Yeah.
Right. And then I went in the back of the far back left.
So do we need more assessment on this? I mean, we're throwing out all kinds of suggestions and ideas about it. But I don't know that we're getting very many answers that we can use to make a decision. That's what it seems like. Unless somebody has a motion
So.
they want to make.
I don't have a motion, I had a comment, yes, I feel like this is going to be the beginning of a relationship with the golf course for us, the tree board, knowing how extensive the oak wilt is spread through the course and affecting so many of our residential properties. That I think if we create some kind of, agreement with them, that they let us know exactly what kind of trees they're planting, when they'll be able to plant them, but if they're pulling these trees out now and they haven't started construction, it's gonna be a year plus before they're planting, right? Like, thinking about the playground is done, but we're not even close to landscaping or the idea of planting trees there yet, and that was nowhere to the extent of the construction they're doing. I feel like I feel both ways as far as I obviously want to help protect the trees, but they're gonna be bringing something really amazing to the community, and they're going to be improving the property overall over time. That it's a loss, but is it a long-term gain?
So I think you made a very important statement just then. And I think that's where we are, trying to work with them, but also trying to protect the property. And I'm not sure what we need to do. I think we could throw out some ideas of what we can do. Okay.
Could we ask that instead of planting 20 or 30 small trees, we plant 2, nice oak trees, whether they're live oaks.
Nice being more
Well,
mature.
yeah, somewhat mature, at least 6 foot minimum. What size tree can you get? Easily? Or not easily?
Easily.
Not-
I would start at 65 gallon, which depending on the species is roughly an 8 to 10 foot
Okay,
tree at a caliber of roughly 2 inches. And that's not that big.
no, it's not, but it's still better than, 3 foot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you're gonna need a semi to drag in on.
How much would a tree like that cost?
Between $500-800 per tree. Could we get them to move between the trees?
Hmm.
Do what?
Move the tree?
Can I?
Oh, hi, sir.
To move this along, let me give you some suggestions, because we're kind of at that crossroads, okay?
Which crossroads?
Of getting something done,
Okay.
versus, taking it out, but you really need to know, kind of, yes or no, okay? So, if y'all could have a special meeting, say in a week or whatever, I know it's the holidays, a special meeting in the next couple of weeks. In between time, you all can come down with some, request for that variance, so you could approve the variance with stipulations, such as, okay, we approve the variance if you plant 20, whatever trees, at least in caliber long or whatever. If you provide a comprehensive plan on oak wilt mitigation, on Double J Golf Course, Double J Ranch Golf Club, actually spell out those stipulations for that variance. So you could do that. Once you vote on, okay, we'll give you the variance with these stipulations, what we'll have to do is that we'll have to get with the city attorney and we would do an agreement to give to him that he would sign off on as the owner of the golf club. And then that way it would give the city authority to make sure that those things get done.
So-
Rather than just saying, okay, do you want to plant 20 trees? Well, great. Because once you pass it, there's no saying that he has to pass 20 trees or plant 20 trees. He can plant 4 live oak trees if he wanted to, and there's nothing you can do about it. So a lot of times with this variance, you want to put stipulations on it in order to make it beneficial for both of you. Beneficial for him, that he can build and take down maybe these 2 heritage trees, but also benefit the city and the tree and the landscaping by putting some strict restrictions, what we would like to see in the golf course. I think you all have some good ideas. I think there's some more out there that you can probably come up with, but we kind of need to get a decision going, and he would actually have to sign that document before he started construction and got the variance to cut down those trees.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you be available for that special meeting?
Yes, I would.
And you would attend?
I will attend.
And you would help us craft these
If-
conditions?
If you have all, we can't be making up the conditions at that meeting. Everybody needs to come with conditions in mind of, these are everybody, right, the 4 conditions or whatever. And if you can give those to me in advance, that would be even better. That way, everybody, when we come into the meeting, we can have everybody's recommendation down there. We can discuss the different recommendations, whether it's viable or not, or if we could come to a consensus. And then in the talking and discussion of it, we can determine, okay, we want this, this, and this. And I will, if you want me to, I can kind of craft some or tweak them to make them more, I hate to say legalese, but more responsive to what the city would need. And then, you can pass a motion if you so choose to approve the variance with the following, exceptions or the following, requirements.
Okay, so would Mr. Gambino be invited to that special meeting?
He could be on Zoom just like he is today, and he could be part of that. And you are the chairman, and so he gets 3 minutes. If you so choose to do a discussion with them, that is your prerogative, and y'all can have an open discussion on Zoom if you want to.
So but also along with that, like to give him an opportunity to work with the board on these conditions and what his responses are, what he thinks so far, so that it's more of a cooperative or collaborative process. So,
I will check with Mr. Gambino. I will see if you can contact him, if he doesn't mind, and you and maybe another member of the committee could speak to him. You're talking about directly before the meeting to kind of see what y'all can work up with? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm thinking, we've come up with a lot of ideas,
Correct.
and you mentioned them already. You were talking about them, and everybody here has, all right, thank you for as long as you did. I'm gonna vote for you.
We'll see.
Kidding.
So many boxes.
Do you want to take some cake with you?
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. Thank you all.
So I guess I'm thinking that we need to process what our ideas are together as a group.
Okay.
Before we bring in Mr. Gambino and say this is, or we could work with him on those ideas. But that could take a really long time. And so I'm not sure how to do this as expeditious as we possibly could, or if anybody's willing to do this.
I say it's great to work with them, but basically as the tree board, you can, in essence, kind of dictate what we want as a city. Because, trees are important to everyone here. We like our trees. And so, it's great to, I mean, and I work with Mr. Gambino all the time. But if you want so-and-so, just say, we want so-and-so. Present that to him. If he wants to, I mean, it's either kind of do or don't. You can talk to him beforehand if you want. I mean, I think that would be a great opportunity to kind of see what he's willing to do and how much, he's doing, whether you should even, if he says, I ain't gonna do anything, which I don't believe he would, he's a great guy. But there's no sense in doing this if he's not interested in working in that type of, relationship or structure where we would have an agreement that you have to do X, X, and X in order to cut down the trees.
Okay, so let's make a motion. I think we've talked about this enough. I'm so glad you came in. Thank you. Anybody have a motion?
Sorry.
We go to the special meeting and select the date.
Yes, so I, Chair, would like to make a motion that we table a decision on this particular variance for now and call a special meeting to discuss some conditions that could determine an approval of this variance. Is there,
I'll second.
you have to first it.
No, you made the
You
motion.
did the motion. You,
Yeah, all you need is a second.
you first did it, you seconded it.
Can you do it again now?
Oh, that's right.
Table the decision.
I
We have a
I
second
make a
meeting.
motion that we table the decision about the variance for Mr. Gambino and the golf course at this time. And that we hold a special meeting to determine the possibility of conditions that would contribute to an agreement and an approval of the variance request. Yes? That sounds not as good as the first time.
First time was a lot better.
That was a lot of work.
I'll watch the video.
Possibility.
Basically, all you, may I make a suggestion, the motion probably could be that we table this to a special called meeting of the tree board. That's it.
Okay, but
Short,
we all
sweet.
know what it's about.
Right.
Okay, so I want to file a motion that we table this decision regarding the variance for Joe Gambino's golf course request. Variance request until we can have a discussion with conditions,
During
special meeting.
Yeah, I think we're all good. Perfect. We got it.
yeah, we got
Okay,
Yeah, second it again. Just-
Second.
Okay, there we go. We're up covered.
okay, so first did, seconded, vote on it.
Yep.
Member Bernie Bissette,
Yes.
Member Coddington.
Yeah.
Invitation done. Member Mills
Yeah.
and Chair Ramos.
Yes. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Do you want to take some cake?
Yeah, take home.
I tried, it wasn't edible, and I just. I'm teasing, it's very good.
You know what I mean?
I'll take it off.
So,
Kevin, you want this cake?
I know.
It's good.
anyway.
I have a salad for lunch. I don't want to
Anybody
ruin
needs
it.
It's made out of lettuce.
Coming up.
Yes.
If y'all want to meet out there, meet out there.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea. So the next thing we need to do, well, we all voted on it. We need to schedule the date for the special meeting.
We don't have to schedule it right here and there. You can call a special meeting as the chair and let's get together tomorrow. And let's look at some dates and we can also send out an email looking at availability because I know it's tough during the holidays. We want to do it as soon as we can, but we don't want to ruin any holidays, but we do need to get something done on this.
Okay, so then we need at least three of us,
Correct.
four of us,
Yes.
for a quorum,
Yeah, because Dorothy's basically out right now,
or Dorothy's
So
out.
he's done.
so you've basically been bumped up.
Congratulations. Thank you for doing that.
So if you will give me a call or come by tomorrow, let's sit down and talk and let's get a game plan and see if we can't get some dates so we can send it up to them and get something scheduled.
Okay, any suggestions about when you cannot do it?
Thursdays are bad for me.
Not on Thursdays,
Wednesdays are not good for me.
okay, not Wednesday, not Thursday. Cheryl, how about you?
Are we looking at like next week? Because then we will under Christmas,
Next week or the following week on
the week
Monday.
after Christmas, for New Year.
I'd like to get it done in
In
December,
December, yeah.
so up until next week would
Is it
be
18th
Monday
to
and
22nd?
Tuesday, or the following week, which would be Monday.
That's Christmas.
Christmas already, yeah. that's
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
next
we won't
week.
do it that day. We'll do it the last week of the year.
That is the last week, and then the next
Yes.
Monday is the first.
Yes,
Is
okay.
anybody available next week?
Yeah, I was gonna say I could do next Monday.
The
I can
18th.
do Monday.
I can't do anything right next week. No,
Okay, and then the following week is the Christmas
Christmas.
Friday this week,
I'm
Friday.
out of town this week,
you're out.
yeah.
How about January 1st,
We're
January
closed.
December
So-
29th, or actually.
So- 1, 2, 3, 4 of us maybe could meet, or 3 out of 5 of us could meet, and that's a quorum, I think. And maybe you could send your recommendations to me, or we could talk.
yeah, let's talk, rather do that.
Do you mind skipping the meeting?
No, I just at this point have to be, I've got too much other stuff going on right now.
Of course, it's the holidays, I get it.
That's not, always kind of do it.
Maybe you and I could talk about your ideas. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So what day are we looking at, Monday?
Monday,
The 18th.
I should check my calendar too. I'm just assuming I'm available. I just feel a little bit of urgency. Yeah, I'm open Monday. And there's also a window for planting that we need to look at and aim for.
For this, for them,
Yeah,
So we're talking about 4:30 on Monday?
I think it's wide open. Well,
yes, quite open.
I'll talk to Mr. Rule tomorrow
Okay,
and send you a notice. I was just trying to get a date.
perfect.
So.
We will have to have the agenda out by Friday. And so, yeah, whatever ideals need to come in the next. Well,
Earlier,
Yeah.
better. Sooner the better.
Wednesday.
by Friday, well, the ideal work is, the agenda item is just gonna be one agenda item, which will leave that agenda item. But the ideal is if you could give them to me before the weekend, that way I can kind of massage them a little bit to, that the lawyer would actually work with. If that makes sense,
Yeah, I just want to be in the room when they're being massaged.
that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, we won't change them, and just make them more legalese to have some teeth.
Sure. I want teeth.
Yes,
Okay, so I think we've got a motion and we can move on.
I think y'all did a good job.
Thank you. I think we're heading in that direction.
You were getting there. I just tried to speed it up a little
We vote
bit.
on that motion?
Thank you.
We vote on the motion?
Yes.
No,
Yes, and it was approved that we're gonna have a special meeting. So
I'm still on a sugar high from the
notice I didn't eat any.
I'm listening.
So I'm gonna request that you please contact Mr. Gambino and let him know what our process is right now,
Mhm.
unless he's listening.
He's already
That
off.
one's done.
Yeah.
So,
I'll call him in the morning and I'll let him know what happened and see if I can't get any information that you were asking for earlier too. I doubt if he has that yet. Because none of that can be approved until this gets approved.
I know,
So,
and yeah, I think that would be very helpful to him and to us
Right.
in this process.
Mhm.
Okay,
Me and Jim will contact him in the morning.
thank you. And then there's also the question of the waiving the fees.
No,
No.
you can't do that. The tree board has no statutory authority to waive fees. That's a city council
I
decision.
just know it was in his variance
Yeah,
request.
it was, but it's not,
Okay.
tree board cannot do that.
I don't have teeth.
No. Well, you
You make recommendations.
can make recommendations.
Okay,
You have a lot of teeth in this one. Because the tree board is the only one that sees it.
right, so. Thank you. for
Yes.
that.
If y'all have any questions, give me a call, you know where I live. Look right there.
It's here.
Look here, look at 6:30. So 5:30.
Alright. So we're gonna move on and let's move on. Okay?
Yep.
Are you gonna stay?
For a little bit.
Great. And you? Do you want us, we've got Cheryl.
Well, since we're kind of paused, I can, you wanna call a recess real quick, like, Cheryl, how to turn this off when y'all are done?
I know how to turn it off.
You gonna do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And then.
Thank you
You,
for staying.
Or just, you just shut it down.
Okay.
You just shut down the Zoom and let it say.
leave meeting for all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, and then just downloads.
So, the next thing is, and then, we'll just-
Okay. How much cake is you want?
And I am gonna take off and watch you on my way.
You are not.
Don't be watching while you're driving.
I mean, listen.
Listen, yes.
Listen.
Listen, no, I can't watch on driving.
That's right.
No, yeah.
So we were worried about.
Right, so thank you very much for your participation and patience in this process.
No, thank you all for your hard work.
Yeah.
So I look forward to next Monday.
All right, so item number 4, discussion and recap of Arbor Day celebration, November 4th, 2023.
There's a piece of cake for that.
Take
A big piece, and you can wrap it.
That's a big chunk.
No, we have so
There's-
much stuff.
It's good with ice cream. Not that I know that. Number 4, discussion and recap of Arbor Day celebration. What worked, what didn't work? Any comments, feedback?
I heard nothing but positives about the event. Our goal was to educate, and I think we got a lot of education out there. We got good participation. What else?
I thought it was wonderful. I looked around and I saw older people sitting eating tacos. And then I saw children. I saw, yes,
When y'all are done, if you can put the roll call and then motion sheet in that green folder and then just leave it there.
Okay, even with our application.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
and the mayor will lock it.
Yeah, I got it.
What bring you?
I'll lock up.
Yes.
Okay.
And that there were babies on a blanket talking to 2 story readers. And then going back and forth to, the snack table, eating cookies and brownies and some apples.
Get apples and fruit strips.
It was great. It was just fabulous. People getting education, like you said. Everything worked out really well.
It all worked out, yeah. So I really, really enjoyed, and I think everyone that I talked to about the Oakville walk was like, I'm so glad I came and I was able to do
I
this
know some people that came specifically
for that, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was just an amazing family of older people and younger people and children. And during the raffle, the little girl who won the tree, it was precious. I helped carry that tree over to the golf cart. She sat down, put the tree between her legs, wrapped her arms around it, and said, "Can I name this tree?" It said, "Anything you want."
Is that the little?
Two little girls.
Live oak?
The burrow.
Yeah, that's the one that you can see.
Yeah.
I got a really cute video of her when you were giving it to her, and she was like, "Now you have to build me a tree house, Daddy."
Right.
It's gonna start with popsicle sticks.
That'll be the one.
Yeah.
But I think as a team, we worked so well.
Probably all
Yeah.
pretty smooth.
Get a few more people next year.
Huh?
Just get a few more people next year.
Yeah, we'd love more. I would say one thing is just thinking about our date for next year, and I know it's on the agenda to talk about spring event, but having two really big back-to-back events, and I think, and I say really big because I think we should be loud and proud about the fact that we're Tree City USA, and it's our one big event that we put on. We're one of the few here in Texas, like we should be very proud about that. And following up Spooktacular is, I think, a lot to ask. If we want to have the turnout that we would, in my mind, love to see.
You think it'd be better in the spring? Or are you saying like you're?
I think it would be more beneficial to us in the city if we were to do it in the spring. Just because Spooktacular is the park's big event.
Sure.
And it's in the fall.
Just means we have to start hustling again, right?
Start what?
Hustling again, right away again.
Yeah,
But
but not just that, what about the budget? Do you think we had enough money?
we were under budget. I think we didn't even spend it was under $600. I can pull it up, but
And I know that Mario's food truck paid $55.
Mario's, I did a drop, they did a 15% of their sales that day, so it turned out to $55. Yeah, so that went to our tree planting fund.
And I would like to remind the board that the tree that's supposed to get planted in Augusta Park is in my side yard, and I'm trying to keep it alive. I
So,
put a lot of water on it today because it's supposed to freeze tonight.
that was last night.
First last time.
Did it really?
That's made of.
Did it really?
After you're dead.
It was 25 at my house.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was 30 when I got.
So anyway,
So I think it'll be
I
fine.
watered it well, and it has a blanket around the bucket and over the top of the soil.
And you watered it really well. Yeah, that's
Yes,
all you
deeply.
can do.
Yeah,
It's too heavy to lift and move.
yes. And, but it's on the north side of my house. I've got a fence, but, you know, I don't have a roof over it. And there's no room on my porch right now
So,
to get it.
so the question is, can we move it and is somebody willing to take it? Is you want?
That would be fine too. I mean, I'm happy to leave it where it is. I'm just letting you know that it's, you know.
I think you're a wonderful steward.
Thank you, but, you know, I have anything to say about the weather.
Yeah, my desert willow in the ground lost all its leaves last night.
Oh, well, this still has its leaves.
Mine all fell off.
Okay.
So, let's just see how it does. Pray on it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
So I am gonna suggest that even though we were under budget, that we ask for a bigger budget this coming year. We scrimped a lot and we did a lot of things. I don't wanna say on the cheap, because we were really working hard to make it really a nice
Yeah, I
event.
donated the tree.
I don't know what you could have done to make it better.
Yeah, it was.
As
it was
far
a
as-
nice event.
The advertising and just the overall look of the event. I don't know that you could have done, you know, after all, we are just a community. We're not a big city. Huge city.
Spectacular had,
I want more banners.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about advertising.
Yeah.
Spectacular had front, full page ads. Now, those are outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Good tech.
And I don't think we need that, but it was a lot of work. You worked very hard, Cheryl,
Yeah.
very, very hard.
We all
to get- Well, we all did, yes. But getting all the advertisement out there that we could.
Oh, and stuff for the kids to do.
I have given to you, and I don't know, just got lost in all paperwork. But I had given to you something that I pulled off, on different Arbor Day, things to do for Arbor Day. One of them being a proclamation from the mayor. That somehow or other got lost in the shuffle, and I think that.
That's on the agenda for next week.
I'm sorry,
We have a proclamation that it was held. We need a proclamation that is going to be held. That's what we're saying.
well, it was a proclamation, it was just that was by the Arbor, where the Arbor people are, I don't know, the foundation.
Arbor Day Foundation?
Foundation, I guess. And it was just, one of the recommendations to, do a proclamation from the mayor to, to the city of Wood Creek. Which I thought it would have been a nice
That's what we did.
invite.
That's it, right there.
Is that,
So this is City of Wood Creek proclaims that Arbor Day was celebrated, and it has more information.
So what
This
it
was
is,
last year.
yeah, what it
That's
is,
what yeah.
it's an after the fact proclamation. You're saying we want to get a before the fact proclamation,
before.
which is absolutely correct.
Once we have a date.
So do it before.
Absolutely.
So this is what we do as a requirement for Tree City USA,
Mhm.
but for it to go out, then the tree board says, hey, we'd like a proclamation, beforehand, that we'll still do this, that it was held.
Yeah.
This is automatic for Tree City USA.
So, okay, I've got it on the list. I'll try to come back to it.
I won't let you forget her.
Thank you.
As far as the budget goes, when we get to, budget season, which, it starts in the spring. Then, tree board would come back with we would like this much. Set aside for Arbor Day, this much set aside for this much set aside. for that. You don't have to approve that tonight.
Ms. Richardson, this is gonna come back to you too. This talk about the budget.
She's good with numbers. Yeah.
Yay, okay. So I just personally want to thank you all for all your work. It was so incredibly hard work. And it came out beautifully. I was just thrilled.
That's Blue and Arch House in a long time.
You are,
Your Blue and Arch. That's
Yeah.
boys really, love that, the work to get to bringing it down to the casino. Waking up to a house full of them. That was fun, I enjoyed it,
It was a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah.
for everybody, yeah. Okay, if I can move on, this number 5, and I'm gonna try to hurry these up. Discuss and take possible action for the procurement of monies in the city of Wood Creek for the replacement of a public live oak tree originally located at 50 Brook Meadow Drive. So we did this request in September and it was overlooked. It never got to the city council. And so what I want to encourage is a motion that we ask the city council to pay for the tree that was destroyed by Alpha Paving. September 29th, it was on Brook Meadow, and it was a 35-foot tree, a tall tree. I went and looked at it and measured it personally. And so that's a simple request. Just that we ask the city to reimburse the community through the tree board fund for a public tree that was destroyed by Alpha Paving.
And Alpha Paving.
Alpha Paving won't pay?
They won't pay.
I don't know, that, I'm just requesting the money from
Yeah.
the city that they get it
And
somehow.
what's gonna happen with the money then gonna be spent to replace the tree?
Mhm.
Or this, we could also request trees, that they give us 2 trees.
Alpha paving.
Or the city, I'm asking City Wood Creek, I think Alpha Paving is gone.
Yeah, we need to.
There,
And what do you propose to plant there? A live oak?
well, we can decide where we want the trees. And whatever trees we decide.
No. Okay. Decide what tree, we're not gonna decide today what tree to plant on. That's what you put that up.
That's right, we're gonna ask
Wasn't
for,
necessarily gonna go at 50 Brookmeadow either, right?
no,
I thought
it's
if
not-
I thought we asked for the estimated cost to replace the tree to go into the tree fund. Is that what you're asking, so?
that could be, it could be worded that way, or it could be trees that we purchased to, the city provided us for 2 trees to replace that 1 tree. And I personally am looking at desert trees and, okay, so what are some of the desert trees, Nancy? Besides desert willow, there's
Well, there's mountain law.
mountain laurel, those are mountain laurel, desert willow, big myrtles, although that's more of a shrub, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but there's big shrubs too.
Yeah, they're big, big.
Yeah,
Oh, those are really.
depends on how
Big.
big the tree you want.
Yeah, now mountain laurel's expensive, but they're big.
They're very expensive, they're very slow growing. So right now, we just want, okay, a motion to request the city council to provide the monies to replace the tree destroyed by Alpha Paving on September 29th on Brook Meadow. Are you making the motion?
She is.
I'm running a second.
Well, I should slow it down.
Request that the city,
We
city council
request,
provide monies to
we
replace.
request
Mhm.
that the city of Wood Creek
I already wrote it, this helps.
what did you write?
We request that the city council provide monies to replace.
A tree, a live oak tree, a 35-foot tree that was destroyed by Alpha Paving in September.
You don't want to say that because you're telling them to put another 35-foot
Yeah.
tree
Yeah.
in that spot.
Okay,
Just like, it's just keep it simple that you just want the city to take the responsibility for the action. So you want the money to replace the tree that was lost, according to instructions from the tree board.
Both, okay.
So they can say, okay, well, here's the money that would have been the fee for that tree. All right, so there's that, or, 2 trees, that you can put wherever you want or whatever. So, but, leave yourself some flexibility to work with the city to do it. But if you're not caring, you're too specific, then the city said, we're not gonna replace the 35-foot tree,
Yeah.
okay. So, is there a motion?
A motion or a second?
Well, I'm
You can
asking
make-
Cheryl to read it out.
I thought you were asking something else. We request that the city council provide monies to replace the tree that was lost at 50 Brook Meadow Drive.
Okay, and then who's gonna plant the,
Right now, we're
So
just
to
putting the money in.
replace includes the tree and the cost of planting.
so you need to get that in the tree? Because that's 2 things, right?
The tree could be 500 and the planting could be 500.
Why don't you,
More than that.
if I might, why don't you put a dollar figure in there? Instead of provide the money, that's so arbitrary, so to provide $1,500 or whatever it is to, just put a figure in there.
All right, they can always say no or amend it.
Yeah.
All right, so we, the tree board, request that the city council give the $1,500 to be placed in the tree fund to replace the tree that was lost in September of this year.
At 50.
Pardon?
At 50 per meadow.
At 50 Brook Hollow, Brook Meadow.
Per meadow.
Brook Meadow?
Meadow.
Thank you. At number 50 Brook Meadow. So we're requesting $1,500 to purchase and replace a tree that was lost at 50 Brook Meadow, on September 29th of 2023. That's more clear, yes?
Take a second.
All right, so that's the first.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, so let's vote on it. Do you have the voting machine? Thank you.
I hope everything goes okay.
So Terry was the one who voted first last time, so that starts with,
With Nancy. So she'd already written number 4, we didn't do anything, so should I just go to the next column or just start? Skip
There's
forward?
nothing, there's no motion on
Okay,
board.
so I can just cross 4 out and put 5. Okay. Board member Nancy?
Yes.
Okay. Should I just check yes? Yes. Okay, I will vote yes. Cheryl Miller? I'm just
That's
going.
fine.
Chairperson Iris Ramos?
yes,
Jacobs out, and member Terry Prince.
Yes.
okay, so it's passed. Great. So number 6. Thank you. Discuss and take possible action
Second that. You second, okay, sorry.
on the procurement monies from the tree fund to purchase trees for public parks, specifically Augusta Park. I received a request during Arbor Day for a desert willow from the Parks Board. Becky Denton the park board has requested a tree for their park. They did a lot of work.
Well, let's put that, is the one I've got to go at, Buchanan? Yes, okay,
Triangle?
okay. Well, no, the one that I got was donated for.
The triangle.
Yeah, Woodbury Gardens donated the tree you have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Jacob said he would plant it
Uh-huh.
at Augusta, at the Triangle.
How much do you charge them for that?
He's not charging.
Okay.
Okay, and the triangle is the one on.
That's where we are.
Where we had the
Yeah, okay.
All right. So
gazebo.
Augusta Park is where the bocce ball court is.
Yes,
Where you worked
yes,
last week.
yeah. Now,
Okay.
not that straight.
All right. So she has asked, I'm trying to remember, she wanted a 30-gallon tree. It was gonna cost $300, I believe. So, and we did not talk about, she just wanted a tree, any tree, and I think it's up to us as a board to buy trees to put in our city. So is there any discussion on this?
Do we just go with what they requested, the desert willow, or is that something we give input on, or is it just a
She
simple?
came up to
yes
me
or no?
specifically, Becky Denton is doing a lot of the landscaping for the parks board. And she said, we want a desert willow,
Okay.
that size.
Okay,
And I said, well, we'll talk about it with the board.
okay.
And she said,
So you don't, just as a technicality, you don't have to procure that money because it's yours.
Yeah.
All you're doing is voting to spend it.
okay, thank you.
since we have it, let's get a desert willow, aren't they pretty hard? Are you
Wait a
happy?
minute, what are you suggesting?
Okay, so we're gonna plant a tree at Augusta Park. And we need to pick the tree, right? Pick a tree.
I think we can just give them an allotment.
Oh, okay, they'll plant it, they'll get it and plant it. Okay.
That was my intention. I mean,
So we provide the tree and they
plant it.
plant it out of their.
There was no discussion about that. She just said she wanted a tree.
Okay,
So, but I think that's up for discussion. Do we want to give them a tree that is planted?
Mhm.
It would be nice.
mhm.
And since the tree that we procured money for was given to us, I think we can probably afford it.
Yeah, the $300, absolutely.
So we got $1,000 that we did not use because it was donated, right?
Mhm.
And Jacob is going to plant it from that part.
Do they have a timeline of when they are wanting to plant this desert willow?
I think the sooner the better. I haven't talked to
I don't
her
know.
since then.
If this is a good time, is this a good time?
Is that why we're sitting on our?
Now we do it till like February.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No, we're setting on ours because we don't have any water. to
It's the water, well, that would be the same
Yeah.
for the tree.
Same thing.
the parks
Yeah.
board, so.
Okay, so somebody make a motion, okay, that we,
Please.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Let me write it down also. I would make a motion that we approve the purchase of a desert willow to plant at Augusta Park.
A second.
Very good.
wait, write it down.
I'm writing.
I just want to make sure that that is okay.
Approve,
Purchase of desert willow to plant at Augusta Park.
so we also have to get this money out of the tree fund,
Yes,
so how do we do that?
You tell Kevin, buy a tree, take it out of tree fund.
Okay, approve the purchase of a,
desert willow.
Do we include the cost of planting as well?
how about if we give them $1,000 to buy the tree and
So
then
no
plant it?
more than $1,000?
Yeah.
Not to exceed $1,000.
It's not cost that much.
Yes,
To plant and purchase a tree,
Tree,
not just a little,
No, I understand.
one.
so a 30-gallon tree,
30 gallon.
Yeah,
30-gallon tree,
was $300.
Right.
and then there's the mulch, and because I spoke with Jacob about this, he said $1,000 is reasonable,
Okay.
and that the planting and installation is just as expensive as the tree. So, we approve the purchase of a $1,000 tree to be planted.
So wait, you're saying the tree's gonna cost $1,000?
No.
Where is it $1,000 tree? Approval of $1,000 to plant. a
To
tree
purchase
at
and,
Augusta
to purchase and plant a tree at Augusta Park. Right? Got it? Is that your motion?
It is, yes. We approve the purchase and cost of planting a desert willow tree not to exceed $1,000 at Augusta Park.
So it's to make a motion, right? To purchase. Do you
Do I need
make,
to write that?
yeah,
You're making a motion.
you're making a motion. We haven't approved it yet.
We make the motion to approve the purchase and planting of a desert willow tree not to exceed $1,000 at Augusta Park.
I'll second. I'll second.
Okay, so now we vote. So Terry has seconded it. So now it's Nancy goes first.
Yes.
Yes.
Nancy. Yes. So we're starting out of order now from, okay. I vote yes. Chair Iris Ramos
Yes.
and Member Terry.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, motion approved. Right, so number 7, discuss and take possible action on preliminary discussions of the Spring Arbor Day celebration. I'm gonna suggest that we postpone this for tonight. Jacob had made a suggestion that rather than having Earth Day, we should have a spring Arbor Day to coincide with the Texas Arbor Day celebrations. And I think that's a really good idea. Anybody else?
So Texas celebrates Arbor Day on Earth Day?
No,
Oh, okay.
We do.
we did last year, this past year. So what we're suggesting is that we don't get in with Earth Day anymore, that we just have Arbor Day
The end of April.
in April. And Cheryl suggested, these are just ideas, but Cheryl suggested that we have a spring through the trees. This is the name I came up with, where we walk or run.
Or wine.
I like spring through the trees.
I like that.
And that we start planning something like that. That could be a fundraiser also for trees.
Yeah, a great partnership with the golf course.
Yes, sure would, wouldn't it?
Maybe they'll give $1,000.
Just kidding.
I think we're being recorded.
I know.
So, so we can postpone this and bring it back up for further discussion. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, we'll probably have more people here.
If you move to table it, it's supposed to come up on your next agenda.
Okay,
Or you can postpone it indefinitely, or you can postpone it for a certain date.
so take,
You can postpone it to the next regular meeting, so that it doesn't come up on the special meeting, for instance.
Okay,
I have a quick question on these notes then. So for example, item number 4, we just discussed Arbor Day. There was no,
right. So
should I have a sheet for that? That's okay.
No,
Or just skip
that's just
forward?
promotions.
Okay,
The, in the minutes, it would just say discussion.
okay.
Okay, so number 8, I suggest that we table that one as well, because Jacob isn't here. We need to begin planning a tree survey, and also,
oh,
he was gonna do a training day for us. So I'm gonna suggest that we table that. I don't think we need to make a motion for that, do we?
It's good to table, and
Move to
if
table.
everyone agrees. I mean, you would vote on the motion to table.
Oh, well, we didn't vote on the other motion to table. So
Sure.
let-
Yeah, you should.
Okay, so on number 7, a Spring Arbor Day celebration, we're tabling it. So we do make a
So I do,
motion,
okay.
and,
Just to be safe.
I make a motion that we table the preliminary discussion on Spring Arbor Day celebration until more members are here.
I'll
And,
second.
okay,
Okay, so
so do we need to vote on this one as well?
Yeah, you can vote by show of hands.
Let's have a show of hands.
we all,
All in favor?
They don't do that around here, but you can, I know.
okay, we all
Okay.
vote in favor? Okay.
All in favor, say,
So you can just check everybody's office voting in favor.
okay, so number 8. That motion to, number 7, motion to pass to table. Number 8, motion to table the agenda item. The, agenda for the next regular meeting. To schedule a training day for the tree survey software with Jacob McElroy. Would anybody like to make that motion?
Just that,
Yeah, and I'll second it.
Firsted by Iris, seconded by Terry. Okay, so number 8 was also tabled.
Well, I need to vote on that.
Y'all,
Those-
all in favor? Priscilla?
Okay, so number 9. Discuss and take possible action regarding the engagement of Carl Flocky to create a city map of Oak Wilt in public areas and rights of way, including Oak Wilt hot zones and a comprehensive tree management plan. So in November of this year, I had a very long conversation with Carl Flocky. And we have been stymied because we don't have a city arborist. And we need an assessment of what's happening with so that we can create a comprehensive tree management plan in the city. So I spoke to him about creating a map that could be distributed and so that we could also make a level 1 risk assessment in town about where the hot zones are, what are the areas that need to be addressed immediately or as quickly as possible, and then come up with a treatment plan. And so he said that what is needed is a letter, a written request for Carl Flocky to do that. Now, I asked him if he could do this in a private practice sort of way. And he said no, that it would be a conflict of interest since he's Texas A&M forester, so he cannot do that. But that he could do it free.
Shares?
At least it's a first step to get it done.
Yeah.
He also made a recommendation for a person in San Leanna, Leanna. It's a little community just, is it south of Austin? I think. And they just hired a new arborist on retainer. And he gave me the name of the person to speak with about who they hired and how they did that. But before we get to that, we really do need to have an assessment, a risk assessment. So we need a letter with a written request for Carl that is composed by the tree board and the mayor, signed by the mayor and submitted to him.
I'm in.
Okay. So, is there anybody willing to write this letter? Who's in? Who's in? Who's out?
I'll work on it if I can get David to help me. He's good at because he's worked with cities. Okay,
So maybe you could come up with a draft.
yes, and we can consult with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and when do you need this?
ASAP.
Okay,
So maybe over a glass of wine.
yeah.
I didn't know we could do wine over motions. What have I been missing out? All right, so what we need is a public tree assessment. This is what we need from Carl Flocky. We need a public tree assessment with written recommendations. The hazards in the trees, diagnostic locations, treatment recommendations. So we need a tree management plan. Okay, so do you think you could do this by the next regular meeting in the new year?
Yes,
Thank you. And you can call me if you have any questions.
I will, yes,
And we could both call the mayor.
yes.
Or we
And
can just meet at the mayor's house and write the darn thing.
would that be a quorum?
Just the two of you.
Okay. So if you would schedule a time that works with the mayor,
Okay,
then I can work with the both of you.
yeah, and I'll talk to David about all this.
And then after that, we can recruit the liaison to help us with this kind of project in the future. Okay?
Yeah.
But not four.
You can't even talk to her now.
Okay, so do we need to make a motion to draft a letter to request these services from Carl Flocky?
Not really, you'll need to have the letter approved once it's written. I mean, basically, the action you're taking is asking it to be drafted. So that doesn't require a motion. What will require a motion is like this, when the city goes to saying, yeah, this letter is okay, the mayor can sign it, and we're up and running, that would require a motion.
Technically, are we tabling it?
No, it's not tabled, and it's still on the, it's still on the table. It's just that, we're gonna come back
Right,
to, and we already said that, so come back by the next meeting. So that's the action. I don't feel like it needs a motion, do you?
No.
So it's unanimous.
yeah.
Okay, so. Thank you.
Did y'all cover then the next meeting date to your satisfaction? That's the only thing left on the agenda.
So, the next meeting date, moving to announcements, will be announced because it needs to be the week after January 8th. It would be the 15th rather than the 8th. Until we are appointed, we're not official, and that won't take place until the city council meets in January.
So we're putting it off.
We're
So you're
putting it
gonna-
off a week, tentatively on the 15th of January.
That's MLK Days, city holiday.
Oh, it won't be.
It doesn't have to be on Monday, I mean, you can
Do the
do
16th.
it on Tuesday.
Well, there could be other meetings that occur on that day. So my take was to say to be announced. And I'll check this out tomorrow and then announce it. Okay?
Okay.
So to be announced. You could put that in the minutes, okay?
Announce the word.
Thank you.
Gotta make me-
Ideally, the 15th. Well, I don't know, I have a lot of dreams on that day. Get it? Get it? You dream?
I liked it,
Thank you.
and you can meet on the 15th, it's just that there's none of these staff there to support you. Just mayors and stuff.
Mayors are good, and liaisons are good. This is for the folder.
So if you wanna get a motion to adjourn, I've got something off the record.
When you say add the next meeting date to my minutes, we're not making a motion for that.
No, we're just, it's an announcement,
Okay,
so it goes under announcement in the minutes. That the next meeting date will be, tentatively scheduled for January 15th, but will be announced after confirmation. Or to be, you said to be announced.
TBD, okay.
BDA.
TBD.
So we need a motion to adjourn? Never had that before. Is there a motion to adjourn? Nancy?
I'm ready.
Good.
Personally,
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Do we need to vote?
It doesn't require even a second.
Okay, so I am going to end the meeting at 6:27.
Old David is probably gonna last 106.
Thank you all very much.
What I was gonna say, Harry,